Hello. Do you know what a spiritual awakening is? The word spiritual awakening is a buzzword right now. There are a lot of people posting about spiritual awakening on social media, and I am joining the conversation. In my previous video, I discussed my own personal mystical experience that began the onset of my spiritual awakening. The video was called My Spiritual Awakening Was Misdiagnosed as Schizophrenia. In this video, I will discuss the moment that I realized that I didn't have schizophrenia, but was undergoing a spiritual awakening. So as I mentioned in my previous video, I had this mystical experience in 2008 that was profound. And although the initial experience was really beautiful, I began having experiences that were hard to understand. I began having terror and fear of being sexually violated. I began to have memories that I didn't understand. I began to have mystical experiences that I couldn't make sense of. And all of this was really overwhelming, and I didn't have context of how to interpret these experiences or how to ground them. And I really struggled between 2008 and 2015 with these experiences because my family and the providers that I was seeing were telling me that there was no meaning in these experiences. They were telling me that my belief system, that these could be psychic experiences, were not founded on reality, that psychic abilities were not real, and that this was just brain chemistry, and that my brain was broken, that I'd probably never work again. However, something in me said, that doesn't quite feel right. And so in 2015, I decided to take a Reiki class, which is a form of energy healing that was discovered in Japan by an individual called Usui. And I decided to learn what energy healing is and what Reiki is. So in 2015, I was having a guided meditation by my Reiki teacher, Colleen Bonelli. And I was deep in meditation. And in this meditation, I had another mystical experience where the energy of Reiki revealed to me the experience that I had had in 2008. And I was really curious about why I was seeing a memory of that experience. And in the class, Colleen was teaching us how to ask the energy of Reiki questions. So I began to have a conversation with Reiki, and I began asking Reiki, why are you showing me this image? And Reiki said, because we want you to understand the experience that you had. And I said, well, at the time, I heard a voice that said I was connected to God. And Reiki said, yes, Reiki is life force energy, and life force energy is interpreted in some traditions, for example, Christianity, as God. And I said, well, why did you explain to me, if I was channeling Reiki and connecting with Reiki, why did you explain to me that it was God? And Reiki said, well, that was the context that you understood. You were raised Catholic. And for you, you understood life force energy as God and the Holy Spirit. So we shared with you that we were God. And I said, well, is everything Reiki? And Reiki said, in a sense. And I said, well, does it reveal itself uniquely to each individual? And it said, yes, it reveals itself in a way that the person can understand, given the level of consciousness that they have, given the level of belief systems that they have, given the level of experiences they have. So this experience really opened my mind because it was the first time that I understood that maybe the experiences I had been having since 2008 were not schizophrenia. Maybe this was me awakening to spiritual gifts, but I didn't have the tools to understand it. That is how I began to really get curious about other belief systems and began my journey of studying not only Reiki, but shamanism and Buddhism and other spiritual traditions other than Catholicism, which I was raised in. It was also The second time, I'll share in another video, the first time I had an experience that made me think that maybe I didn't have schizophrenia, but it really shifted my mindset that maybe I didn't have schizophrenia. Maybe this was something else, and I needed to approach these experiences with curiosity rather than fear. In my upcoming book, The Divine Within, Healing Ourselves to Heal the World, which is being published by Atmosphere Press, and I hope will be available sometime later this year, maybe around December, I discuss my personal journey of learning to overcome what was diagnosed as schizophrenia. And I explore not only spirituality, but how to heal. And I offer a step-by-step guide of how you too can connect to Reiki, which may reveal itself in a unique way to you, and how you can use that energy to heal yourself. In my next video, I will discuss what a spiritual emergency is, which is what I came to understand I had between 2008 and 2015. If you are enjoying watching my videos, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. I hope you'll go to my website, blossomingheartwellness.com, and you'll sign up for my newsletter so that you can receive more information about when videos are posted, as well as my blog on my website, as well as information about my upcoming book. Sending you all deep love and appreciation for the unique ways that you interpret and understand your own connection to this inner divinity.